I hope everyone can hear me. In case you're not able to see the screen or if you're not able to hear me, just mention it in the chat so that I will know. All right, so I haven't received any comments yet, so I presume you are able to, yeah, perfect, I got the confirmation. Okay, so my name is Tejas Lapshetwar. I'm representing the organization Gyanberry. We are based in Dubai Knowledge Village. We are a study abroad specialist. And as a GEMS UniConnect partner, we are very happy to present today the opportunities we have to offer to GEMS students. Before I begin the presentation, I would like to thank Ms. Lina for giving us this opportunity and bringing all the students together for this webinar. So let's get started. Before I get on to today's agenda, I want to give you a brief introduction about who we are. For those students or parents or counselors who don't know about Gyanberry, I will just maybe present 1 or 2 slides about who we are, and then we will get to today's agenda, which is study in Germany. Just give me a sec. I think we are having a technical issue. The slide is not moving to the next one. This way without the full slide presentation. Okay, so moving on about us. So we are a established company in 2013. We are a renowned brand in UAE as far as study abroad is concerned. We are among the only 2 agencies in UAE which are recognized by the American International Recruitment Council. We have a network of around 500 plus universities from over 22 countries. In terms of one-to-one counseling to students, we have done over 10,000 sessions, which we are very proud of. And one of the unique offerings of our agency is that we are the official entrance exam center for European universities. So in terms of the network of universities, we represent universities from a vast countries. So we categorically divide them in 3 regions. First is the English-speaking countries, the popular ones. And then the European countries, we represent a lot of universities from a lot of European countries. And we also represent universities from the emerging destinations, such as, for example, Malaysia, Japan, Russia, Georgia, Turkey, Northern Cyprus, wherein more and more students are exploring the opportunities available in these countries. But our today's agenda is study in Germany. So we're going to focus our discussion on study in Germany, and I'm going to talk about important aspects about study in Germany. To begin with, I will talk a bit about the partner universities that we have in Germany. Second, why you should study in Germany, very important question. What kind of fee structure you can expect in German universities, and also the living expenses in Germany. And I will talk about the duration of the courses as well as the admission requirements in Germany. So let's get started. So we have got a large network of universities in Germany. I can proudly say we have the largest network among all the agencies or consultants in UAE, giving students a wide variety of choices. Our universities are placed in popular cities such as Berlin, Munich, Aachen, which are popular destinations among international students. The universities that you see here, they offer programs in English as well as in German. They offer programs in engineering, business, medicine, and wide variety of courses. Some of the popular universities I would like to point out where GEMS students are placed in the previous years. One of them is FH Aachen University of Applied Sciences, University of Duisburg, Rheinwald University, and Cologne Business School. These are some of the universities where GEMS students are already placed and are studying there. So you can have some sort of testimonial from their side in terms of their experience. Sorry, I think there's some. Yeah, moving on. why you should study in Germany? This is a very important question, especially when you have so many country choices today to choose from. It is important to answer this question, why you should consider Germany as one of your study abroad destination. These are some of the pointers that we have got from our students whom we have placed in German universities. I can talk about hundreds of points, positive points, which you can consider, but there are few which are very, very relevant and important. First is German universities do not charge any tuition fee, especially if you are studying at a German state university or a public funded universities, there is no tuition fees. So that makes it very affordable for the parents as well as for the students. Second, German universities offer this unique marriage of research as well as practical approach. So what you are studying in your university, you can implement that during your internships or during your co-op programs. For example, during the engineering programs, students are compulsorily asked to finish 6 months of internship or 6 months of practical project in companies. So by the time you graduate, on an average, a German engineering graduate already has 6 to 9 months of work experience. So that he's a very attractive proposition for prospective employers. For students who want to continue to stay in Germany after finishing their education, Germany offers stay back work permits up to 3 years. And students who work in Germany for 1 to 2 years, they can also apply for permanent residency. At the same time, if you wish to gain some experience and come back to your home country, that is also possible. But students who wish to call Germany as their second home, Germany provides a lot of options for students to stay back and settle down in the country. Talking about the work opportunities, Germany is home to some of the world's best companies, some of the names you can see on the slide here, and that makes it very, very, very attractive for the students to work in their dream companies. A last point, but a very important one, which student does not consider many of the times, is learning a new language and culture. Growing up in the Middle East, you probably learn Arabic as a language, and you get to know the Arabic tradition and culture. In a similar way, when you go to Europe, to Germany, you will get to learn the German language and at the same time experience the unique German and European culture. So 10 years down the line, when you look back, you will find that this works in your favor, especially when you travel abroad to different countries for your work, that you are not afraid of talking to new people or meeting people from different backgrounds, because you've already studied in a very unique culture and a country which offers unique traditions. Moving on, let's talk about the language of instruction. This is very important when it comes to Germany. Students usually ask us, how do I know which programs are taught in English or which programs are taught in German? So all the medical programs, health science related programs such as medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, physiotherapy, and also programs related to architecture are taught only in German language. This is very important for students to know. So this means apart from your high school diploma, you also need to know German language if you wish to apply to any of these programs. There is only one exception, which is the UMCH Medical School, which is recently established. They do not require students to know the German language because they teach the first 2 years in English language, and then you can continue to the German track. Students who want to study engineering in Germany, I would say 99% universities are still teaching in German, but there are some options which are completely in English as well. For example, one of our partner universities, which is University of Rheinwald, which offers many engineering programs in English. Students who want to study business, management, or related programs, there are a wide number of options available completely in English. And at the same time, if you wish to study in German, that is also possible. Students who wish to study programs related to arts, social sciences, or humanities, again, there are options available in German as well as in English. Now let's talk about the fees in Germany. As I mentioned before, the government universities do not have a tuition fee, but you need to contribute somewhere around 250 euro per semester. So there are 2 semesters in an academic year, so roughly you'll be paying only 500 euro for an academic year. But if you study at a private university in Germany, you can expect to spend somewhere between 40,000 to 80,000 dirhams per year. And in case a student is required to do a prep year, such as an academic foundation year or a language course, that is usually not funded by the universities. You need to pay from your pocket. So you can expect to spend somewhere between 40,000 to 80,000 dirham for a foundation year. All right. And this is just the tuition fees. Students have to take care of themselves by paying for the accommodations and for your day-to-day expenses. So from the data provided by the German government, a student, an international student in Germany roughly pays 10,000 euros per year towards his living expenses. So in dirhams, it roughly comes out to 45,000 dirhams per year. Over and above this, you need to consider the cost of education as explained in the table, whether you're going for a government university or a private university. Moving on, let's talk about the course duration. How long will it take for you to graduate from a German university? If you're going for programs related to engineering or business or any programs except for health sciences, the duration of the program is only 3 years, very similar to the UK universities. In case you're going for general medicine, the program is for 6 years after high school. And if you are aiming to go for dentistry or pharmacy, it will be for 5 years. In case you will be required to do a language year, you don't know German and the university has asked you to do a German language prep year, or in case you are required to do an academic foundation year, you need to consider that as an extra year over and above your undergraduate degree duration. Now let's talk about the admission requirements, the most frequently asked question. So there are two fundamental questions you need to ask yourself when applying to German universities. First is whether you meet the requirements for year 1 entry. Second, whether you have the necessary language skills to apply to that particular program. So students who are usually eligible for year 1 entry, they don't need to have any further requirements. The only requirement they need to satisfy is the language requirements. From our experience, students who are having the IB diploma with right combination of subjects, what I mean by that is, in case you're applying for engineering, so you need to have typically maths and physics at your HL level, are eligible for year 1 entry. Similarly, students who have 3 A levels plus 1 AS language, they are considered to be eligible for direct year 1 entry. Also, we have seen students from the American high school curriculum who have high GPA and at the same time who have at least 3 AP subjects or a high SAT score. When I say a high SAT score, we are referring to somewhere between 30, 50 plus score, have also got direct admission into German universities. In case you don't have these academic qualifications, in most cases you will be required to do a foundation year, or in German language it's also called as a Studienkolleg. So which is usually for 1 year, you finish the foundation program for 1 year and then you can continue to year 1 of the graduate. Additionally, you need to satisfy the language requirements. In case you don't know any German language, obviously you need to do a German language course either at the university or at a private language school. So in case you're applying for a program which is completely in German, you need to have C1 level of German, which is the last level of German. And in case you're going for a program which is completely in English, just like how you apply to the UK or US, you need to prove your English language proficiency by having IELTS score at around 6.5 or any other similar test which is equivalent to IELTS. So you can continue to post your questions or comments in the chat section, and towards the end of the presentation, I will take the questions one by one. Now let's talk about the deadlines. Again, very important aspect of the admission process. In case you're applying to a language school just to study the language or a foundation program, the applications are usually opened round the year because they have multiple intakes. So I would say ideally they have 3 or 4 intakes a year. So if you miss one of them, you will definitely have another one coming up in the next few months. Students who are eligible for year 1 intake, as I explained in the previous slide, you need to apply by 15th of July for the September intake. In case you're applying for the UMCH Medical School, which is recently open, it is recommended to apply by the 31st of December 2020 if you're aiming for September 2021 intake. And students who are aiming for the FH Aachen freshman program, I have categorically mentioned this because this is a unique program. I will explain about it in the coming slides. You need to apply by 31st of December for the September 2021 intake. So let's talk about the freshman program. So I have taken this as a case study, as an example, to give you a perspective about all the things that I have mentioned in the previous slides. So freshman program is a one-year program conducted at the FH Aachen University that gives you further access to the undergraduate degree at FH Aachen University or at one of the partner universities of FH Aachen. FH Aachen itself is one of the top-ranked engineering institutions in Germany, and they have collaboration with many other German universities, wherein you can continue your study after completing the freshman program at FH Aachen. So this can be your perfect, I would say, a soft landing to begin your studies in Germany. So let's see how it works. So this is like the pyramid of how the FH Aachen University system works. So if you look at the bottom of the pyramid or of the table, you will see that you will fall in this category. So that you are a typical international student having a high school diploma, right? And you wish to study in Germany. So how it works with the FH Aachen program is that along with the high school diploma, the university conducts an admission test. We have been conducting this test over the last 5 years in Dubai. Okay, so you don't need to travel to Germany. This test will be held locally in Dubai. If you pass the test successfully, the university will admit you to something called as a freshman program, which is for 1 year. In the 1 year of the freshman program, you will acquire German language skills as well as the academic skills needed to succeed in the German university system. At the same time, you are provided a 9 weeks student internship in German companies so that you understand and experience how German companies works. After finishing the freshman program for 1 year, you are admitted to the 3 years bachelor's degree, depending on what majors or specializations you choose. And after that, you can continue to pursue your master's degree. So this is a typical, I would say, a journey of an international student in Germany, and FH Aachen University offers you that opportunity. In case you are having all the academic requirements or the language skills needed to apply to the bachelor's degree, you can definitely skip the freshman program. But from our experience, I would say 8 out of 10 international students do not meet the requirements for direct entry into year 1. So it is really case-to-case basis. So when you apply to the university, they will give you a feedback whether you need to do a freshman program or not. So the FH Aachen freshman program offers 2 tracks. So this is the most unique advantage of freshman program. The first is the English track for students who knows only English, typically applies to all of us, and don't know the German language yet, or you might be knowing very basic German. So the English track can prepare you to study at one of the partner universities with a guaranteed admission. So what does that mean is you just know the English as well as have your high school diploma, and you join the freshman program and you get a guaranteed admission at one of the partner universities of FH Aachen. The second option is the German track for students who already know German language up to the B1 level, which is the intermediate level of German. In this case, you can apply to any university in Germany if you join the German track. So let's explore more about these tracks. So the English track has 2 modules. One is the engineering module and the second is the business module. So in the engineering module, the university offers you guaranteed admission to 3 universities. First is the University of Duisburg for a specific set of courses such as computer, electrical, mechanical, metallurgical, and structural engineering. Then University of Rheinwald, you get a guaranteed admission to University of Rheinwald as well. And it offers unique programs such as biomaterial science, electrical and electronics, environment and energy engineering, industrial engineering, mechanical engineering, and mechatronics engineering. And or you can continue to study at FH Aachen University for these specific programs, which is applied chemistry, biomedical engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, optometry engineering, physical engineering, and rail vehicle engineering. There's also a fourth option, which is at the SRH Ham University, which is focused on logistics and business. Here, if you see a unique feature, which is the language of instruction. So University of Duisburg teaches you in English and German. So the classes will be 50% English and 50% German. At University of Rhine-Waal, the classes will be in 100% English, as I pointed out in the earlier slides. Whereas in FH Aachen itself, you will continue to study completely in German. And in SRH Ham, it will be also completely in German. So for all these options, you do not need to know German before applying, because you're applying for the English track. So all the necessary German language skills will be taught to you during the freshman program. The second module of the English track is intended for students who wish to study business or related programs. So students can typically choose from 3 universities, which is University of Rhine-Waal, Fachhochschule Stuttgart-Westfalen, and SRH Ham, which offers programs in business management or related courses such as gender and diversity, international taxation and law, business administration with informatics, or pure business studies. Now, moving on to the German track, which is a track that can take you to any university in Germany. So in case you do not like the partner universities of FH Aachen, you can go for the German track and literally apply to any university of your choice. The only requirement for the German track would be that you need to know prior knowledge of B1 level of German. And within the German track, there are many options. Either you can go for the engineering track or the business track, medicine track, or the humanist track. Depending on which track you take, then you can choose a particular course and university in Germany and further apply to that. Another exception here would be that the German track does not provide you guaranteed admission, because after completing the German track of the freshman program, you have a test called as FSP, which examines your knowledge in these subjects that you see here in this table. And based on the score that you will achieve in the exam, the university will decide whether they can admit you or not, depending on their cutoff levels for admissions. But typically we have seen students who graduate from the German track, they have managed to get admission in one or the other universities, because Germany has hundreds of universities. So if you pass the FSP test, it is more likely that you will at least join one of the universities available there. That almost concludes my presentation, a brief overview about study in Germany and more information about the FH Aachen program. Now, students who wish to gain more information about the admissions in Germany or the countries that we deal with, we offer free counseling for grade 12 students. And specifically for Germany, students who will apply through us, the GEM students are eligible for 50% waiver on the FH Aachen entrance exam fee. And additionally, as a GEMS UniConnect partner, we offer free admission assistance to all the GEMS students. So what does that mean is, right from the initial counseling phase until we give you the admission letter in your hand, our entire services are free of charge for you. Well, that concludes my presentation. So if you have any questions, you can post it here. So I think we have ample of time in hand, and I have intentionally made it that way so that I can answer questions which are relevant for you rather than I keep talking about generic information. So feel free to post your questions in the chat here, and I'll be happy to answer them. So there was a question from Sarah, which is the language required although you know the language? Well, if you are able to prove your language proficiency through a certificate, as I mentioned, for example, the programs which are entirely in German language require a C1 level certificate, which you can obtain from any German language institute in UAE or abroad, there are certain tests, just like the IELTS or TOEFL. There is a test for German which is called the DSH or Test DAF. If you give that test and if you have the certification to prove that you know the German language, that is sufficient along with your high school diploma to apply. So even if you know the language you might be studying in your school, you need to prove it by giving an exam. I hope that answers your question. There's a question from Jignesh, which is, can you give more details for medical studies? So as I explained in my previous slides, the academic requirements are pretty much same for all the specializations that you wish to go for. I will just possibly go to that slide again. Yeah. So if you see, these are the requirements for year one entry. So when I say year one, it is typically for all German universities. So you need to see if any of the curriculums that you're studying, is mentioned here. If not, then you can contact me based on your, high school background. I can tell you what will be the requirements. But typically, you need to have the requirements for the year one entry. You need to meet one of these requirements. And additionally, as I said, all medical schools need from students to have prior knowledge of German, which is C1 level of German. Only the UMCH medical school, which is a new medical school, does not require students to know any German because they will teach the first 2 years in English. But it is a paid university, it is not a free university. I hope that answers your question. Okay, Sarah also has a very similar question as Jignesh, which is for the medical school. She has mentioned for the 3 A levels in the final year of high school, is maths a required subject for medicine? Typically not. What they're looking at is 2 science subjects. So the most recommended definitely would be biology and chemistry. The 3rd A level subject could be of your choice. But please note, as I mentioned in this presentation, that you need to have additional 1 AS language. It could be any language. It could be English, Arabic, or even German. That's fine. So that's very important. But in 3 A levels, typically 2 sciences are sufficient to apply to medical school. Maya has a question related to studying economics or political science. Unfortunately, all the universities that we work with, the ones Gyanberry is representing, I would say predominantly they offer options for engineering and business. We don't have any universities that offer economics or political science, but there are many universities in Germany that do offer this course. If there is anything particular that you would like to ask regarding these courses, just type it in the chat and I can try to answer that. But as I said, the year one entry requirements are for all the courses and all the programs. Okay, then Malak has a question stating that I'm completing 4 AS in November, physics, maths, biology, and Arabic language. Which program can I enter? I want to study engineering. I would say based on 4 AS level, the FH Aachen freshman program, I hope you can see the slide which I'm showing, because it accepts 3 AS level subjects for the freshman program. So if you have minimum 3 AS level, you can join the FH Aachen freshman program, which gives you guaranteed admission for engineering at FH Aachen University or one of their partner universities, which is Rheinwahl, wherein you can study completely in English, or you can continue to study in University of Duisburg, which is partially in English and partially in German. Okay, Maya has a question which is pertaining to economics. So she has asked what A levels are compulsory for economics. So I would say mathematics is a mandatory requirement for economics in Germany, and the other two subjects should be relevant to economics. So either you can have economics or you can have business management as a second subject, and third subject is really your choice. But maths is something it is mandatory for economics, and plus the additional fourth AS language. Okay, so if you have Maya has asked another question. If you have a German passports, are there different requirements? Yes, all the requirements that I mentioned are from an international student standpoint. If you are a German national, usually the application process is completely different for you. But if you are a German national studying in an international high school outside of Germany, then you need to meet one of the requirements which I have mentioned in this slide. But yes, you will have a different application process as compared to international students. And I think for you, the best help will be given by the German embassy. They can guide you probably more in detail. Omar has a question stating that I take B1 German right now, but I still feel that I'm not good enough. Will I be able to get an admission still in Germany? So as I mentioned, you need to prove your German language proficiency by giving a test. One of the popular centers in UAE, or I would say in Dubai, is Goethe Institute, which is the official center by the German government. So you can go there and examine yourselves. Even if you have not achieved the B1 level, they can give you some prep classes and help you improve your skills. So it really doesn't matter how many times you attempt the examination. You can give 10 times the German language exam until you pass the test. So you can still get the admission if you're willing to study for it. In case if you're not able to come to the level required by the university, you can apply for the foundation year or for the language program. I would say that would be an alternative choice that you can go for, because if you study the German language in Germany, the pace, the speed at which you will learn will be much faster than learning the German in UAE, because obviously you'll be in a native environment. Omar has a further question. Will there be an English-based support during the lectures for international students for the first 2 years while studying in FH Aachen? I think this is a very interesting question. So I will just go to the FH Aachen slide. So if you see here, as I mentioned in the pyramid for the FH Aachen freshman program, the freshman program provides you the academic lectures as well as the language lectures. Here, what happens is they take students who do not know any German or know basic German. So the classes initially, I would say for the first semesters, are completely in English, and they gradually change to German. So you'll have sufficient time to make that transition from English lectures to German lectures. And they have a very robust counseling process in place to help international students to make this transition. And we have sent hundreds of students every year to the FH Aachen freshman program, and we don't have a single student who has come back stating that they are not able to adapt. In fact, they are more happy because the university is teaching them in English initially and then making the transition gradually. There's a question, does English literature AS count as a language? I think I need to double check this. I would say we need to refer to the Cambridge or the Edexcel sheet and see if this is counted as a language as per Cambridge or Edexcel. If yes, then it will be counted as a language. I'm not 100% sure of it. If any of the counselors are present during this session, they can probably double confirm this information to me. If this is counted as a language as per your curriculum, then it will be counted as a language by Germany as well. There's another question by AM. Sorry, there's no name here. So are social sciences and humanities courses only available in German? Definitely, as I mentioned, there are many universities I would say hundreds of universities that offer social science and humanities courses in Germany. Yes, I would say majority of them are in German language, but I would say there are 1 to 2% universities which are in English as well. One of them, for example, as I showed in my presentation, is University of Rheinwald. They have a program which is, for example, gender and diversity. It technically falls under humanities and social sciences, and it is completely in English language. So you don't need to study German. So there are like these few universities which you can find which have programs related to social sciences and humanities that might be completely in English, but I would say the choices will be very limited. Sarah has a further question, which states that I have not completed an AS language. Could I pick my 2 sciences at A levels and 1 AS language? In total, I would have 2 A levels, 2 of which are Berlin, 1 AS language. I'm afraid if you are applying directly to the year 1 entry, you need to have 3 A levels and 1 AS language. That would be a mandatory requirement. Alternatively, you can look at applying to the freshman program at the FH Aachen for this track, which is the German track. If you have the B1 level German and only 3 AS levels or more than that, you can typically apply for this German track, and then after that, you can apply to any university in Germany. Omar has a further question. I want to apply for aerospace engineering, but I do not take chemistry. So how my application process go? Well, for aerospace engineering, the 2 most important subjects are mathematics and physics. So chemistry is not a mandatory subject as such. So you can definitely go ahead and apply. It's not going to impact if you don't have chemistry as your other subject. Say, for example, here the #1 university in Germany for aerospace is FH Aachen. There you can see the rankings for aeronautical and aerospace. They are the #1 university there, and the students typically do a mechanical engineering first in FH Aachen here for the 3 years, and then there is a 2 years focused program for aerospace and aeronautical which you can choose from. And to get into the mechanical engineering program, they are typically looking at having maths and physics at your advanced level or HL level or in the final year of your high school diploma. So chemistry as such is not a mandatory requirement. Okay, so Jignesh has another question, which is, I'm right now in grade 12 with PCMB, so I presume you are doing the Indian curriculum, right? And it will be to get to medical university, either paid or free university. From our experience, students who are doing the Indian curriculum, they are required to do 1 year of prep year in German universities before they can start the first year of the universities. Exception being the UMCH, because it is not a government funded universities, they are accepting students, even Indian high school diploma students, directly into year 1. But please keep in mind that you need to pay for that university, which I mentioned in the earlier slides. But if you wish to go for the free universities, which are completely in German, you need to do 1 year of foundation, learning the German language skills, as well as learning the scientific subjects like biology, chemistry, and physics in German language, because your medicine is going to be completely in German. So you need to learn the scientific subjects also in German before you start the medicine program. I hope I answer your question. I think we have come to the end of the questions here in the chat. So if there are any other questions, I think we still have time in hand. I'll be happy to answer that. If not, you can, if you have questions down the line, I'm, showcasing our website here, which is gyanberry.com. You can book a video counseling session. You can do the counseling right from your home, considering the current situation. our counselors will counsel you over the video, and we'll be happy to answer all the questions that you have. Well, I think there are some more questions flowing in. 1 second. Malak has a question, do grades matter? I would say yes, definitely it matters for all the universities, not just in Germany. It matters all over the world. So it typically depends which university you are applying for. We need to see the minimum academic requirements for that respective university. Obviously, there'll be variations depending on the ranking and reputation of the universities. But definitely all universities have a minimum grade requirement which you need to achieve. Right, Ms. Lena, just advise me if there are any other questions, or how do we take it forward now, or should we conclude the presentation? Well, Sarah has, I think, another question. For the biomedical engineering for FH Aachen, I will go back to the slide for biomedical engineering here. Yeah, you can see the slide here, which is for the biomedical engineering program at FH Aachen. So it technically falls under the English track. So you do not need to know any German to apply, first of all. You just need to pass the entrance test. So the entrance test will be held in Dubai by Gyanberry, and we typically do the test in November, December every year for the following intake. So if you're applying for 2021 intake, we do the exam in November, December, and then we do a last round of exam in the month of April. We now have an exam coming up in June 2020 for September 2020 intake. Because of the virus situation, we could not do the exam in April, so it got postponed to June. So for next year, you can aim for the exam in November, December, or in April. So the entrance exam is on mathematics and English, only 2 subjects. So you need to have your high school diploma, doesn't matter which school you're studying at, plus pass the test, and you will join the freshman program, and you can choose what you wish to study after the freshman program. In your case, for example, it will be biomedical engineering, and you will get a guaranteed admission to the biomedical engineering program at FH Aachen, which is here. And the same applies for medicine as well. You need to give the same test, which is in mathematics and English, and you can join the medicine track. All right, so I think we can conclude the presentation now. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Ms. Lena, once again for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure. I wish you all a good day and a safe health. Thank you so much.